to Burn the Talking Points with a special edition with former Congressman Beto O'Rourke. Do you prefer Congressman, former Congressman? How do you want?
Beto.
I'll go with Beto.
Beto works.
Well, we're really glad to have you in Maryland. Excited that you're doing an entire East Coast swing and that you made Baltimore one of your stops. So we're going to spend 15 minutes kind of talking about how you're viewing the party, how you're viewing the moment, and what you're hearing on the road. And we are going to end with a bit of a game. But just for listeners, a little bit of housekeeping. Brand new store, store.mddems.org. Make sure you go grab some swag for the summer. We have a lot of cool stuff.
Like this shirt?
This shirt is brand new. Exactly. Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, great shirt. If you're not, go to store.mddems.org and you'll see what it looks like.
Is anything printed on the back of the shirt?
No, because that's...
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's way more expensive to really sell. So
no, I don't want to have anything on the back of my shirt. Yeah. I think this is classy. This is OG. This looks really good.
Yeah.
How much am I paying for that?
So honestly, this is actually one of the things, we make almost no profit on our merch because that's one of the things that drives me insane with campaigns is the markups. You know, they're making $17-18 on a shirt. We just want it in people's hands. So I think the profit we make on this shirt is $2.
Okay.
So I think you're paying like $25 and it costs $23 to make or something like that.
Very reasonable.
So honestly, buy some merch and you're helping us out by showing the brand and showing things that you love around here.
I like
and last, we launched our Summer of Organizing, which you saw a press release last week, but we really want to make sure you see it. Go to mddems.org/summer, and you're actually at one of the first events, or you're hearing about one of the first events. We are sitting backstage with Beto at the M&T Exchange right before your town hall. You're about to go out. There's several hundred people right on the other side of the store to kind of hear what you've seen, experienced on the road, and kind of share their thoughts. But let's get into your thoughts right now. Like, how are you viewing both the state of the party and the state of the country with the moment that we're in?
You know, it kind of connects to this town hall that we're having and the town halls that we've been having all over Texas and increasingly around the country. I think that people want to be heard. They want to be listened to. They want to be part of this fight. They don't want to be talked at or preached at or goaded into doing this or that. I think this moment really calls for a conversation, and that buys everybody into the solution because everyone gets to contribute to what it is we come up with. And then we resolve to fight for it and to do it together and to do it in person. I think one of the lessons I picked up from, just life and especially campaigns and politics over the last 10 or 15 years is that as they have become more digital and more expensive, they have become more alienating and more disconnected from the lives that people lead. I mean, online stuff can be fun and online stuff can be creative, and certainly there's a place for it. You and I are online right now in some version of this conversation. But when two people meet and connect face to face, human to human, like you and I are, it is so profoundly powerful. And I know from running for and winning a city council seat by knocking on doors and meeting people, something you're no stranger to, doing the same when I ran for Congress against an incumbent who outspent me 4-1 and winning that race, going to every one of the 254 counties of Texas. There's just something really powerful in being with people. And I think it takes you past like, this is really fucked up. The sky is fallen. Things are really bad. All of that, by the way, is true.
Yeah.
And into, okay, well, what are we going to do about it? Like, I think we all recognize that there are some problems here in this country that we've got to do something. What does that look like? And in these town halls, I'll share my dream, and then I'll say, hey, tell me what yours is. And folks will offer criticism, sometimes constructive, sometimes otherwise. Like, I think it's a really bad idea, Beto. Or, I really love this, but have you thought about this other thing that we could be doing right now? And picking this up from every place we go to, and it's, big blue urban centers, remote, rural, red counties, battleground states, and we're going to be in Oklahoma, which I don't know if that's on anyone's battleground, but it should be. I think that's the future. You fight on every front. You build the biggest possible coalition. You have the strongest, most united front possible. That's how we stop the bad shit from happening. That's how we give ourselves a chance to make something really wonderful happen for everybody in this country.
I want to talk about that a little bit because you mentioned the 254 counties of Texas. You're known for going everywhere, talking to everyone, and having town halls like this. Obviously, Texas is red in some areas, deep blue in others. But then you started traveling to other red areas where representatives wouldn't have town halls. Obviously, in Maryland, we're very lucky that only one of them doesn't have town halls.
Uh-huh.
So what do you like? Why blue cities then? Because you're doing the East Coast tour now. Like, why are you picking Charlotte, Richmond, Baltimore, Philly? Like, well,
Yeah.
What do you hope to hear different, or are you hearing different things? I guess?
So kind of my diagnosis of some of our party's problems, present company excluded, is that we've made two fundamental mistakes. One is that we've written off entire parts of the country. So these more remote and rural counties that typically have voted red, we really have stopped going to them for, in some cases, generations. We don't field candidates in opposition on the ballot. There's no one making the case for the things that we want to do or the things that we've accomplished and done that have made people's lives better. Mistake number one. Mistake number two is we tend to take blue urban counties and certain groups of voters for granted. If you're black, you're probably going to vote for a Democrat. Why do I even need to bother to show up and listen to you and include you in my dream, in this campaign that I'm running, and this vision that I have for America? Your vote's already in the bank. And that bit us on the ass harder than I've ever seen a party be taken down in 2024. And it happened with black voters. It happened with brown voters. It happened with lower income, working class voters across this country. They've been voting for Democrats generation after generation after generation. And too many wanted to go chase the suburban soccer mom in Denton or Collin County in Texas, which we should chase her for sure. She's important. But you can't forget about the people who brought you to the dance in the first place, nor can you write off people who are a little bit harder to get out to, who may not have voted for you before, who may ask you some inconvenient, uncomfortable questions. We got to show up for everyone everywhere. It's not a sophisticated strategy. It's not particularly brilliant, but I think it does contain a lot of common sense. And that's why you see us in Philly and Baltimore, but you're also going to see us in Oklahoma City coming up, and in Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, we're really going to go everywhere because everyone's important.
Oklahoma is an enigma for me right now. To use a word that the president uses, just on the state level, it's insane. But in Tulsa, like, some of the most progressive early childhood education policies that exist, and like it doesn't make any sense just how far Oklahoma's drifted, because there's a lot there that we should be able to capitalize on.
How could that state have produced Woody Guthrie and end up where it is today? That's the question for me.
I've not heard that one, but I agree. So as you're traveling across Texas, Oklahoma, I know you're on the East Coast. You've been to a dozen other states. What's like two or three things that really stuck out that you're hearing from the audience that maybe you're hearing as like recurring themes?
Number one, why aren't Democrats fighting? Again, present company excluded, but there are too many people, especially in really powerful leadership positions, who don't demonstrate the fight or the spirit or the urgency.
Do you want to name any of them?
That people feel right now. Chuck Schumer. How in the world did that guy roll over and submit to Donald Trump and Elon Musk during the continuing resolution fight? For those who don't follow that phrase, which probably makes no sense to anybody, it was a bill to fund the government. But this bill, written by Donald Trump's administration with the help of Elon Musk, was just an open grab bag for the president and his favorite billionaire to spend whatever they wanted on whatever they chose, and also to continue to destroy and decimate the government. And when I say the government, I mean your ability to get Medicaid, or to ensure that Social Security is not on the chopping block, or to go to the VA and be able to see a provider for your post-traumatic stress disorder, or whatever that may be. Every single House Democrat, I think except for one, voted to stop this, unified, because that is our one power that we have right now. And in the Senate, almost every Democrat, until Chuck Schumer broke. And look, that guy has been an extraordinary leader in some cases. And over the years, he's demonstrated his service to this country, and we're grateful for it. One thing I think we learned after 2024 is there is a time to take a bow and say goodbye, and for new, younger, more urgent leadership to step up, take the reins, and fight back as hard as we possibly can.
Yeah. As you travel, and again, blue cities, red cities, areas, is there anything different in blue areas that you're just not hearing in red areas, or anything in red areas that you're just not hearing in blue areas that can help kind of explain maybe some of the gap?
You know, that question about Democrats comes up a lot in blue areas. People are frustrated. They're like, this is my party. Where is the fight? In red areas, what you may or may not be surprised by is the commonality in the issues that are coming up. Hey, my local school is being defunded right now because in Texas, the governor has proposed and passed this voucher scheme that will drain more than $1 billion out of public ed. and send it to families who are already in private education. Give them $10,000 a piece. There's 254 counties in Texas. 150 of them do not have a private school to which you could send your child if you were eligible for the voucher in the first place. Guess what? Most of them happen to be represented by Republicans, and those Republicans have been found wanting at this moment of truth. And people are pissed off, as they should be. People in red areas are
especially going to wealthy families who are already sending their kids.
That's exactly, in almost every state that's passed one of these voucher schemes, most of the money goes to people who are already sending their kids to private schools. Overwhelmingly, those folks are wealthier than the average citizen of that area. You know, folks are asking about immigration in red places, but not in the way that you might expect them to ask. They're saying, hey, we're an agricultural community. We depend on immigrant labor. We want there to be a safe, legal, orderly path for someone to come here. Why can't you guys get that stuff figured out? So much common ground there, but you're not going to discover it unless you show up and listen and be with people where they are.
I'm going to ask you two more questions before we play a quick game here. In just a quick soundbite, not to speak in sound bites, but to help folks understand, like, what's the dumb it down for me path back to power for Democrats?
Dispense with the sky is falling. Focus on how we're going to make this country better for the people that we want to serve. Your take-home pay, enough to live on. You're going to be able to see a doctor when you're sick, before you're sick, to make sure you don't get sick. Healthy, fresh food, clean drinking water, the ability to spend time with your loved ones, your friends, your family, the stuff that makes life worth living. You work hard, you should be able to afford a home. Too many people working hard and can't afford one. And this one, I think, is the kicker. You know, the focus on immigration or DEI or trans Americans by the administration, it's an attempt to divide us and distract us because they are robbing us absolutely blind. The biggest transfer of wealth in American history from working Americans to the wealthiest 1%, it just took place right in front of our eyes. And if you and I were doing that, we'd ask you to look the other way as well. So we need to focus on the big picture, on what they're doing to us, get those resources back for the American people, make sure they flow to the folks creating that wealth and success in the first place. And then really, when we get into power, fight for people and get shit done.
I'm glad you said that, because the thing that I can't stand, we can have the conversation about how to improve the party, and we should. That is essential. Like, we didn't win 24. We need to win in 26 and 28, and we need to ask ourselves the hard questions. I can't stand candidates running around the country right now bashing the Democratic Party as their platform. There's one person in particular right now that is not an elected official, but says he's going to run. He used to be the mayor of Chicago and is using every opportunity to say how terrible the Democratic Party is. That's not how we build it back. We can have tough conversations, but if your platform is, you guys suck, I'm going to be the fix-it, like, I can't stand that.
Look at our party today. Wes Moore, arguably one of the most successful governors in the country, one of the most exciting prospective candidates for the Democratic nomination. I have no idea if he's considering that, but he probably should, because there's a lot of excitement, not just in Maryland, but back home in Texas. I happened to be on CNN this morning. In the green room was Richie Torres. You know, he and I probably don't see eye to eye on every issue. He's New York, I'm on Texas. I think that guy is so freaking smart and so powerful in his ability to communicate an idea. He needs to be in our party. He's exciting. AOC and Bernie Sanders, Greg Casar on the progressive wing in the state of Texas. I mean, we have an embarrassment of riches and talent in our party right now. Let's focus on that. Let's get those folks up to the front.
Greg messaging with the Progressive Caucus.
Awesome, right?
Really just transformed, like, Representative Jayapal, but like, you can just see a shift in like the strategic thinking around what Greg's bringing to the table. It's just different.
Absolutely. So I actually feel really optimistic about our party right now. I know that our polling is, I guess, in the tank, and maybe it should be after 24. But I think that's actually what we want. They are not going to see us coming. They don't know what you and I see day in and day out, which is fired up Democrats, volunteers, precinct chairs, county chairs, and great leaders like Governor Moore, and great prospective leaders who are coming out of the wings right now.
My theory is it's obviously Republicans are going to say they hate the Democratic Party in polls. It's Democrats trying to express their frustration with leadership in polls. It's not that they hate their Democrats, they're represented. Right. They're really frustrated with leadership and how there doesn't appear to be, some people, a strategy.
Yeah. Or a fight.
Yeah.
Let
me ask you this question, then I have a pet issue to ask you about here. You have every Dem candidate and staffer in the nation locked in a room, and they have to listen to you and do the one thing you tell them to do. What is the one thing you tell them, and then they have to do it?
Be with people. I get the appeal of money and what it can purchase in campaigns. I understand, how transformative social media has become, and it was a big part of our success in the Senate race in 2018 against Ted Cruz. But nothing is more powerful than being with people. And you know why people don't do it? It is tough. It is slow. It takes a really long time. If you and I are knocking doors together, maybe if we're lucky, we can knock on 120, and it is hot as right now.
It's blazing here. I can't imagine what it's in Texas.
Yeah, and the air is so thick, and you're sweating through your clothes. But if you're not willing to do that work and reach people where they are, I love the folks who are going to come to this town hall. God bless them. We also have to be able to go out to the folks who either aren't voting our way, or have voted for us before and wonder whether we really care about them enough to show up and pay them that most profound respect of listening to them at their front door, at their church, at their bar, wherever the hell they are right now. So that's the one thing I'd ask us to do differently as a party.
And this is my last question, and then we're going to play a game, so this might be a downer question, but guns is like the pet issue, and I don't understand our path forward. After Uvalde, after Newtown, and Republicans said, dead children are not enough for me to change our laws.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah. If I take the long view, which is cold comfort, but it does help me gain some perspective on this, just about anything that was worth fighting for, that when one ultimately made this country better, took not years, but decades.
Yeah.
You look at the end of Reconstruction to the Civil Rights Act in 1964, just to use perhaps the best example. You have more than 90 years of absolute darkness and Jim Crow and terror across this country, and something far beneath a democracy. And how many unsung heroes, labored in obscurity, lost their lives in the process in order to give LBJ, first president from Texas, the power to do that in 64, and then to, which is almost unbelievable, in 65 build on that with the Voting Rights Act. So that's I think the biggest nonviolent peaceful achievement this country has ever produced. I think that gun violence, given the number of people who are losing their lives in Maryland and in Texas, the fact that my state leads the nation in school shootings, more than 2 years after Uvalde, nothing has changed to make it any less likely that any other kid in my state meet the same fate. We've got to be persistent. We've got to stay in this fight. And if it's important to us, we're not going to give up. And I'm certainly not going to give up.
All right, so let's play a quick game. It's going to be blind rankings 1 through 7. I'm going to give you a fast food place, and I'm not going to do Whataburger. That's kind of
1 is great, 7 is terrible.
1 is great, 7 is terrible. Okay. I'm going to go in random order. You just have to rank because I know you're on the road all the time. I'm sure you eat all these places, which I wish I could do every day. To my wife's chagrin.
I by the way, I ate at Miss Shirley's today
great,
here
right?
in Baltimore. It's amazing,
so good,
amazing.
It's ready. There's one in Annapolis. Across from our office.
I give it a 1.
Number 1, we're going to the classic. First one, McDonald's, 1 through 7. 1 is great, 7 worst.
6.
All right. Chick-fil-A.
3.
All right. So we have 6 and 3 gone. KFC.
4.
All right. So 6, 3, and 4 are gone. Arby's.
8.
Okay. Culver's.
2.
I'm from Wisconsin. That's my favorite right there.
Milwaukee soon.
In-N-Out.
Do I have 5 left?
You have 5 and 1.
I'll give that a 5.
And then, so number 1, Burger King.
Oh, man.
You want to switch Culver's to number 1?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Beto, appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for
everyone.
having me.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. That was Burn the Talking Points. And make sure you stick around for every episode because we're talking to folks who all have views on how we move the Democratic Party forward. And you're part of that conversation. So thank you so much.
Buy a shirt.
Yeah, buy a shirt. Store.mddems.org. Thank you.